Oh hey, welcome to my favorite place in the world, my bed. Hey everyone, I know it has been a long time since you heard from me, but I'm here now, and I figured we could do a little spend the day with me. It is officially day number 2 on summer vacation for this school year. I just got out a couple days ago, and I start teaching a summer camp in a couple days. So I have a couple of days to just relax and enjoy free time and hobbies and all those fun things that I didn't really get to do in this second semester of school. So yeah, I figured I'd take you along with me for the day, and we would spend the day in my bed doing some fun hobby things. I have some books I want to read. I definitely want to update my reading journal later and my Notion and that kind of stuff. You might see some Nintendo Switch action. So let's meet our guest stars for the day and what the day has planned for us. All right. So I want to read 2 books today. Not finish the second one, but the first book I want to read is Six Scorched Roses by Carissa Broadbent, and then the second one that I want to start is, I guess you guessed it, The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King by Carissa Broadbent. I literally finished The Serpent and the Wings of Night yesterday, and the ending just really threw me for a loop there. I ended up rating it 4 stars. For the longest time it was going to be a 3 because, it wasn't a bunch of tropes that I hadn't seen before, but the ending, I was so impressed that Carissa just got me like that. So I had to go out and immediately get the next 2 books in the series. This hardcover is gorgeous, and I paid full price for this novella, which I feel like was a stupid choice, but whatever. I really hope this novella doesn't take me all day. It's 158 pages. So I really hope that I can finish this novella today so that I can jump into The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King and find out what happens. So that was a pleasant surprise. So those are the books that I want to prioritize today. As I also said a couple minutes ago, I do want to update my reading journal. I have a reading journal on my iPad, and I also do have a physical one that I do want to try and start using again. Got so much stationery that I just have to get, that I have to use. On my Kindle, I also have Daisy Hates and the Great Undoing that I'm currently working through. So if I really get sick of the romantasy vampire stuff, then I can take a break and read some of that, because I've been enjoying that as well. And then you might see a little Switch action. I am playing Disney Dreamlight Valley right now, that's my game of choice, but I really have been in the mood to play some of Hades. I haven't gotten to play that game in very long, so might play that. This day is very low pressure. I'm currently still in my pajamas with my messy bed head, as you can probably see, but I really just have missed posting here. I've filmed so many videos at this point, and I just never got around to editing them or posting them. I have some life updates to give y'all, and so I just figured we can kind of take the day to hang out and spend some time together, and hopefully I can actually post this video. I have a sort of Kaigen reading vlog too that I really want to edit and get out to y'all, but we're gonna take it slow, and today is gonna be the day just to spend some time together. So first things first is that I really want to get into Six Scorched Roses, so I think that's what we're going to start with. I've read 4 pages, so we're gonna put on my headphones, we're gonna light a candle, and we are going to just read as much of this as we can, and I'll update you throughout the day, and we'll hang out. So I'll talk to y'all in a little while.
apologize if you can hear my fan, but we're already on part 2, the second rose. So I guess this book is broken down into 6 parts, 6 scorched roses. So I guess we'll take a minute and talk about the progress. I'm only like 20 pages in, but basically this book is like a novella that comes after The Serpent and the Wings of Night and The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King. And it follows this woman named Lilith, and like her town is basically overtaken by this curse and this plague that like basically is killing everybody, to say the least, for lack of better terms. And so basically one day she goes and she visits this vampire named Vale, and I guess his blood is like the cure, or she thinks that his blood is the cure to this plague that is happening within her town. I also just noticed that there was a bookmark, so, you know, gotta love this edition. So, kinda, anyway, so we just got through part 1. She just met Vale, and they're already doing the cat and mouse kind of thing, which I haven't read that trope a whole ton before, but that first part kind of hooked me a little bit, because they're just flirting with each other. But the real thing I wanted to come and ask y'all is that if you were a vampire or a werewolf person, I can't talk today, werewolf person, ever since I was in middle school and I started reading The Mortal Instruments by Cassandra Clare and I got back into reading, I've always just liked werewolves more. And, you know, this being a vampire series, I'm like, yeah, the lore is interesting and all that stuff, but I definitely wouldn't say that it's transformed me by any means into a vampire girly. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of ask and see what your preferences were, if you have one. But anyway, I think I'm going to try and get to either like page 50 or like 75 or 100 and kind of just see how I'm feeling, because definitely want to take a shower in a little bit. Feeling kind of icky, but gotta stay in your pajamas for a little bit, you know, when you're relaxing. So I'm gonna keep going, and I'll check back in with you at like the next update point when I decide to take a break and take a shower. So yeah, we're moving on to part 2, chapter 4.
my friends. I have made it to part 3, the 3rd rose, so I'm about 50-ish pages in. So I'm gonna stop here and take a quick shower because I am starting to feel nasty. But so far, I'm really enjoying this, and it's kind of crazy, but I feel like this might be a 5-star. And I think that's really funny because the only other 5-star that I've had this year has been one of the volumes I read of A Sign of Affection. I've had a rough reading year. I haven't gotten to read a whole ton, but what I have read, like, I don't know if I'm just in a bit of a slump or if it's just because I'm not, like, impressed with what I've read. But yeah, if this is a 5-star, I think that's, well, kind of funny because this is like a novella, 150 pages or whatever, but I just am enjoying it so much. Like, Vale and Lilith's relationship and like the way that they talk to each other is just so like opposites attract, and I love that stuff. And you know, already in part 2 of this, like, they're just mad flirting with each other, and it's good stuff. Good stuff. I love how uptight she is compared to him, and then like she's just, I don't know, like he feeds into her curiosities, and I don't know, I just really like them. As for the actual story of like the plague and stuff like that, like I feel like we haven't really gotten that much, but at the same time I'm just starting to think that that's obviously not the important part about this book, because all of my friends have said that like this novella doesn't really like pertain to the main story that much, but you do see like a smidge of Lilith and Vale in The Ashes and the Star Cursed King. So we're gonna keep going. I'm really enjoying it, and honestly it's really easy to binge, so it's not like I feel like I want to like do a different hobby or anything right now. I really just want to shower and like clean up and everything like that, but then after that I'll probably just continue to keep going and take it from there. So yeah, I'm gonna shower and I'll update you guys when I'm out and ready to read some more. Hey, we are out of the shower and I wanted to take a moment to show you guys my fit for the day. We're going comfy, cozy, yet adorable. So here it is. It's this cute little set here from Old Navy. Recently we went to a free sale. Like, my mom loves going to like yard sales and free sales and stuff, so we went with her and she found this set and it didn't fit her, so now it is mine and I love it. Like, there's like slits on the side and it's so flowy and comfortable and it's not too heavy, so it's good to wear in this kind of weather. Yes, we are nice and clean. However, I am waiting anxiously for wash day because this hair is like not doing it for me. But the sun has come out, my friends, or it's like peeking out here and there. And I feel like at some point today, we should probably go outside and touch some grass. That time though is not going to be right now, because right now I just want to jump back into 6 scorched roses. I'm gonna say it slowly from now on. I was texting with my friends like before I got into the shower about how I think this might actually be a 5-star, and like as I was thinking more about it in the shower, I was like, if it keeps going like this, it definitely has the potential to be. And my besties were like, yeah, honestly, kind of liked this one better than the 2 main books. So you know, I definitely get that feeling. This one's clicking, and I really hope it is a 5-star because I need a 5-star so desperately right now. I have not had one since like my first book of the year, which was A Sign of Affection volume like 6 or 7, I think. I have not had one 5-star novel this year, and that's hurting my soul, and I want one so bad. So hopefully this is it, and then, you know, we can end this spend a day with me in bed video with a 5-star, and that'd be really exciting. So yeah, we're just gonna jump right back into this. I'll update you guys later when we either take a break or eat something or go outside and touch some grass. I don't know. We'll see. But ready to get back into this for sure. not made a bunch of reading progress. I'm about to hit part 4, I think, but not a ton of progress has been made. I think I was just kind of getting a little distracted after my shower. I just kind of wanted to like take a break, a longer break, I guess. So I read a little bit more, and then I took a break to eat some lunch, which I showed you. Took a little YouTube break, had some good kimchi noodles. That's like my favorite lunch, or favorite style of like ramen, you know, kimchi. But anyway, so I did that, and now I am ready to get back into the book, but I would like a change of scenery, and it looks really nice outside. Like it's cloudy, like overcast kind of deal. But there's a coffee shop that's like a couple minutes away from my house, like my apartment. So I figured that we could go and get a nice coffee and read at the bookshop for a little bit, or at the coffee shop for a little bit. And while we drive there, I'll kind of like talk with y'all about some life updates. So I think that's the plan. So I'm gonna pack up my bag and get my shoes on, and we'll go to the coffee shop for a little bit. All right, we are getting a move on here. So like I said, I figured I'd take this time to give y'all some life updates. Hopefully y'all can hear me. Oh my gosh. Okay. Hopefully y'all can hear me okay, because I like driving with the windows down over AC, but we won't put them down too far. All right. So there's been a lot of things that have happened to me in the time that we've been apart. Some of them good, some of them not super easy. So the first thing that I'm not sure if like you really noticed, because I didn't say anything, but me and my boyfriend got a place together, and we now live on an apartment on a farm in this cute little town that's like a perfect beginner spot for us. It kind of just fell into our lap. It kind of just fell into our lap one day. Like we'd been talking about moving in together for a while, but we really couldn't make any big moves or anything because unfortunately like my boyfriend has some personal stuff going on. So it had been something that we'd been talking about for a while but could never really like act upon, if you will. And then one day we were hanging out at his house and just kind of talking about some financial stuff and whatever, and he just randomly like typed in the little town that we now live in into like Zillow, and this apartment popped up, and we looked at the pictures and we thought it was beautiful, and so we went to go look at it, and it was just a really great deal for the price. It's very unique and just like right up our alley, and so we decided to go look at it. We loved it when we got there, so we had to like sit down and have a serious conversation. My parents were a great help in making the decision. You know, they were telling us that it would be really great for us, and it's not too far from my boyfriend's family, just in case they need him. And so after having that conversation and the fact that this apartment was so close to his family, I think my boyfriend was definitely a lot more excited and ready to be able to make this change. So we moved into the apartment within a week because it just so happened to have happened on like the week before my spring break, and so I thought it would be a great idea to kind of like pack up and move in the weekend of like the beginning of spring break, so that way while my boyfriend was at work during my spring break, I could you know, get furniture placed and like kind of get us settled in. And so that was that, and we've been living in this apartment for a little bit of over a month now, and it's been great. The people who also live on the farm with us, like, they're nice, no problems really.
We do live on like the second floor though, so I guess our only problem is that we have to take things up and down the stairs and stuff, but you know, we don't take it too seriously, just some light cardio or whatever. There's a lot of different animals on the farm and they're all cute. We got some horses, some cats, some dogs, a goat, all the things. So that has been cool. And I'm definitely doing a lot better than I thought I would be doing. As y'all probably know, I'm very big. I'm a very big family person. And me and my parents and my brother are the only people who live here, like where we live, or well, not even here, because now they, you know, live somewhere else. But sorry, I'm turning the AC on because I was pretty sure y'all could not hear me that well. But me and my family, my parents and my brother, like, we are the only people who live here. All of my other family live in other states. So it was really hard leaving them, especially because, like, how I was saying, my boyfriend's like 20 minutes from his family. Like, I'm 50 minutes from my family. So that was definitely hard, but I was also just so excited to do this with my boyfriend. So, you know, I've been dealing with it a lot better than I thought I would be. And I also have just a big problem, like, not to get too deep or anything, but I also just have a big fear, I guess, if you want to call it that, of being independent, like going out in public on my own and like that kind of stuff. And so I thought being home by myself all the time was going to be a problem, but it honestly hasn't been that bad. And then, you know, my boyfriend comes home and we spend the night together every night, and like, it's very surreal. Like, sometimes I have to take a step back and be like, wow, it happened all so quickly that I never really like had time to like fully process it. So now as we're living together like full time now, it's like, wow, this is crazy. It was not planned like at all. It just happened, like fell in our lap. We were told, like, the realtor basically told us, like, if we want it, it's ours. And yeah, and so it was just, it all fell into our lap. And then a couple weeks later, when we had been talking about moving here, my parents were suggesting that I eventually get a different car, because I had a 2008 Jeep Liberty, and I loved that car. And oh, what are we doing here, buddy? Okay, I loved that car, and it was my favorite car that I've had, but it was a gas guzzler. I'm telling you, like, when we first were living here and I was using that car, it was just, I had to fill up a lot, and yeah, it was just taking up a lot of gas. So, you know, my parents were like, yeah, eventually you might want to look into getting a new car. And my mom, every weekend, she sells at a flea market, and she knows this guy who used to be a mechanic and blah blah blah. Well, he was selling a 2019 Buick Envision, and my mom was like, this is a perfect car for you, but the price was just out of my budget. So fortunately, this man was very nice and very knowledgeable of cars, obviously, and so he was saying that there was a dealership that he worked with, and that he would, you know, take us there and you know, kind of help us look around. And so when we got to the dealership, the guy who owned the dealership actually had a 2020 Buick Envision, same exact car. It was a really, really good price. Like, so I ended up getting it. As you can maybe see here, I have the 2020 Buick Envision, and I love it. It's been a great car in the time that I've had it. Yeah, but these cars go for like $22,000, and I got it for half of that. And the only issue was that there was like a salvage title, but the accident that it had gotten in was purely cosmetic, and that doesn't bother me. So yeah, now I have a brand new apartment and a brand new car, and it's been absolutely crazy, and I'm so grateful that this had all happened, and it all just fell into our lap, and we just kind of felt like
after the first chunk of this, like after the last chunk of 2024 and the first chunk of 2025 being like rough for us, we are just very grateful that these opportunities have come to us, and we are adapting well, and we're having a great time. And Maisie, little update on her, she's doing great. Ever since we moved into the apartment, you know, she has not had to be in a single room by herself the entire time, and so she is really truly living her best life. She runs around, she has all the space that she could possibly want, and the only issue is that she is scratching the heck out of our new couch. But I'm so happy that she can be more free in this apartment. She gets to run around. She doesn't have to worry about being bothered or bothering other cats, and she's doing great. And her and I's relationship has definitely like elevated a ton because she isn't throwing temper tantrums or anything like that anymore, because obviously the issues that she struggled with are not there anymore. But we're here at the coffee shop now. But those are my major life updates. Like, there was a more negative one where it was like I had a mini job scare, unfortunately, but I don't think it's gonna turn into anything worse, so I'm not gonna dwell on it. But yeah, we're gonna go inside, we're gonna get an iced latte, we're gonna hopefully sit out. I want to sit outside, but this place is always packed, so I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find a spot outside. But let's go inside and read for a little bit, shall we? If this doesn't tell you to check your books before you buy them, I don't know what does. little bit later, and I just finished six Scorched Roses. Gosh, this title is hard to say. I finished this just a little bit ago, but before I wanted to update, I wanted to just take some time to think about my rating, because I really feel like I'm stuck between a 4 and a 5, because I don't really do like 4.5s or 4.25s or whatever. I like to keep it like, you know, solid numbers. And this one, like, it just has me conflicted, because the thing is that I enjoyed this book like way more than I enjoyed the Serpent and the Wings of Night. With the Serpent and the Wings of Night, I like enjoyed it, but until the ending came around, it wasn't anything like brand new, which I obviously knew going into it, but the ending took me, like, threw me for a loop, and that's what really like brought it up to that 4-star for me. This one, however, like, I didn't want to stop reading it. I loved the romance way more than I love the romance between Oriah and Rain. I just loved our characters more. I loved their romance more. And the thing is that The Serpent and the Wings of Night is like 400, 500 something pages. And this was 156 pages. And this told like a very well done, complete story, in my opinion. Like, I felt like it's so interesting, because I felt like it was really fast paced, but it was like a slow burn at the same time. So it was like, you literally at the very beginning of this book see Lilith and Vale meet for the first time, and then by the end of it, like, they're fully in love and they're going to live a life together, and like they went through this whole story. Now, granted, you know, the conflict of, you know, Lilith having a trouble, like an issue with the god that like cursed their town and their land, I feel like it, you know, got resolved very quickly. But because this was a novella, like, it didn't really bother me. Typically, when things are resolved too easily in books, I'm like, okay, like, where's the struggle? But here, it's like, the way that Carissa Broadbent had explained it was that they'd been struggling with it for years, and it didn't really feel like it was too quick, because she had given you the backstory of the town and, you know, the curse that had been put upon it and all those other things. So by the time the conflict came around and like the resolution to the conflict came around, what happened didn't really feel like it was a bad solution, in my opinion. And that could just be because I was like totally entranced in the story. Like, obviously I finished this all in one day, and I'm sure most people can finish it in a couple hours. I'm just slow, as we have talked about many a times. And so the struggle with the 4 and the 5-star is that I loved the beginning, and the beginning hooked me like so much, but then once we got to the middle and the end, I felt like it slowed down for me. But I still didn't want to put it down, so I honestly feel like I just need to stop being like a gatekeeper. I don't know. Like, I feel like at this point I just need to stop gatekeeping my 5 stars and let this one be the exception. Because it was just so good. It was so good. Like, I honestly, when I think of like anything that I disliked, I can't really think of anything major that stood out to me besides like I wouldn't even say it's like the pacing, just like the middle and the end not being as interesting to me. Well, the ending was really good too. Like, I liked the way that the story ended with what happened. I don't know. I guess I'm just gonna say here, I'm gonna give it a 5. I think I'm gonna give this a 5-star, because looking at this compared to a full-fledged novel, the fact that this was a very enjoyable, fast-paced, well-told story in the manner of 156 pages, like, I feel like why would I rate this a 4? And that's why I needed to talk out this conflict within me. I think I do think I want to give this a 5. And I'm saying it here so that I can't go back on it. I will rate 6 Scorched Roses 5 stars. I really enjoyed it, and now I'm glad that I bought the physical copy, because when I bought it, I was kind of like, why do I have to pay full price for a novella? But now I'm glad that I did, because I'm glad that I own a copy of this. With that being said, I am going to end the video here. I did want to like film a little bit longer, but we're about to go out to have dinner with my boyfriend's family. So, you know, I don't know how much more reading I'll get done. Plus my brain's kind of fried because I have been reading this literally all day with a couple short breaks. So I do still want to start The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King. I can't even think of that title. The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King later. But right now I just want to give my mind a little break. But with that being said, thank you so much for joining me today. I had a fun time reading with y'all. We got to go to the coffee shop, got to talk about some life updates, got to read a 5-star book. So what more could I ask for? I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.